investment programs. Over the last 35 years, we have not only seen that now Africa is a fully fledged neoliberalism, but we also seen the devastating effect of neoliberalism. The social fabric of our societies has been destroyed. The solidarities that we knew, national solidarities, class solidarities, have been torn apart. Today, for lack of vision, for lack of alternatives, for lack of hope, and in despair, our people turn to parochial ideology. Whether it is clan, race, tribe, religion, originalism. During this period, we have seen devastation or literal destruction of countries, 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 what made Rhodesia to revisit not only the Kampala Declaration of Intellectual Freedom, but our social responsibility. It raises the fundamental question whether African University, what is our responsibility as African intellectuals? So together with my subcommittee, when we are drafting the annex to the Kampala Declaration, these were the kind of considerations and thoughts in our mind. The idea is not simply to have a declaration with articles and sub-articles. The idea is to use the declaration as a form of pedagogy, as a form by which we constantly remind ourselves of responsibility. We constantly use it in our classrooms and elsewhere to remind all our colleagues and our students what is the responsibility that we bear to our society. And when we talk about social, not talking about responsibility owed to the state. No, we're talking about responsibility owed to our society, to the struggling people of our society. If you visit today, the countryside in Africa, in Tanzania, and I'm sure this must be true of many other African countries, you see that actually we are two nations, not one nation. Today we are witnessing rampant corruption and squandering of resources by those whom we put in power. Whether we put them in power or they get into power, I'm not sure. Because every election, you find allegations of rigging. So the question is then is, are we really putting these people in power? Those who are in power do not want to leave power. Those who are out of power want to get into power. That is the political class we have bred. if we like it or not, during this period, intellectuals, our own colleagues, with whom we talk, debated, discussed, struggled. Some of them have also been accommodated and co-opted. They have become part of the establishment. And in some cases, they probably act more viciously because they feel more insecure. Those are the kind of considerations that go into this annex. Both the Kampala Declaration, the English and the French version, as well as the annex to the Kampala Declaration, are in your conference bags. I know our program is extremely packed, but please take time to read them. Please take time to read them. So the next 3 days,
Indeed, the challenge is to, I think the emphasis that has constantly come to us today from the morning is that no one is going to do it for us. We are the ones that must make the changes, that make this declaration to be able to continue to do the work it was envisioned to do in this day and age. We are the ones who must do the analysis to make sure that all the many papers that you are going to be presenting and the conversations that we have keep asking what is the connection between academic freedom and the real life challenges that people are facing. We are the ones that must carry on the work that the Titans as Codestria from the 50th anniversary in the many meetings continues. I think I have time maybe for one round of burning questions or comments. Let me remind you that today we are setting the ground. We will be revisiting all of these issues again and again and again. But if there is somebody, especially if you're a student and you have a burning question or comment, I think we would be failing ourselves if we don't take them. We may not answer all of them comprehensively. I suspect the questions will be answered multiply in the days to come, but I do want to just give us that quick chance. Is there anyone with a quick comment or a question? I see one hand. I see one hand here. Is that just that one hand and two hands? Okay, now they're all coming up. First of all, if you're a member of the subcommittee, my vice president, I'm sure you will have an opportunity to speak. But okay, please let's make them short. I think it is value. I will come to you, Rashid, because I think it's important that we record them. Let us work as a community. So let us make it short and sweet. Please don't repeat what has been said so that we can actually carry everything that has been said. Let me start right here in the front. Thank you. Okay, we may need that mic so that we can have the interpretation happening. If we may have a mic, please. Because otherwise the interpreters aren't able to hear.
Okay, it's on now.
Thank you.
This is just an informational comment on the first speaker, a decade after the African Higher Education Summit on revitalization of African higher education. He was trying to throw a challenge to AAU on the need to promote data collection in. AAU has taken up that challenge already. And right now, we have a program, a project promoting the culture of data collection in higher education. AAU is doing this in collaboration with some regional organizations such as IUCA, SARUA, another organization in North Africa, and we are currently on that now, just to inform you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I know why it is so important that AAU is here partnering with us, because some of the answers are already here. Over here, please.
Okay. Student of this university, studying diplomatic and military history. So for my side, for ensuring liberty in academic or to have freedom in academic, we need to have the psychological security. It means that in a university level to the high level, most depend on the outside. So we should impart our history. We should ensure that the history of Africa is well known. We should ensure that the history of our different countries, and we should the generation which are coming should know the culture of Africa, should know the culture of Kenya, the culture of Tanzania, so as to remove. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we're picking up on that question of what does it mean to have Pan-Africanism in this day and age that we began early. Thank you very much, Christmas, for that contribution. Yes, please.
Alors, je vais être très rapide. Je salue tous les conférenciers. Une question rapidement à Carlos. Vous avez parlé, je crois, d'une étude qui a été menée chez vous. Et vous attendez les fonds de l'Union européenne pour sa publication, c'est ça? Oui, je n'ai pas bien compris.
Okay, and I will come to the panel. So this is a direct question to Carlos.
Oui.
Oui. Il va répondre à toutes les questions à la fin.
En fait, j'ai cru entendre dire qu'ils ont mené une étude en Guinée-Bissau, je crois, et ils attendent les fonds de l'Union européenne pour sa traduction, c'est ça? Alors, si c'est le cas, est-ce que ce n'est pas contradictoire avec la liberté académique?
Non. En fait, l'étude a été financée par l'Union européenne, par la délégation de l'Union européenne en Guinée-Bissau. Et le contrat disait que cette étude pouvait être publiée, disons, pour le public bissau-guinéen. Il s'avère que nous avons cru que cette étude était... Déjà, c'était la première enquête d'opinion menée en Guinée-Bissau, d'opinion publique. Donc, il y a beaucoup de gens qui trouvent que l'étude est vraiment très importante. Et nous avons voulu traduire cette étude et la faire publier par une maison, disons, de publication académique. Nous avons approché un certain nombre de maisons de publication, d'édition. Mais quand nous avons voulu avoir l'autorisation de l'Union européenne pour que cette publication soit faite en anglais, ils ont dit que non, que nous ne pourrons pas publier en anglais. En fait, mais nous n'avons pas besoin du financement de l'Union européenne pour publier en anglais. Mais nous avons besoin d'une autorisation parce que ce sont eux qui ont financé l'étude. Donc, on est dans une grande discussion qui a international parce que nous avons mené ça au niveau disons, de l'Office de l'Union européenne en Europe. Donc, il y a une discussion qui s'est établie là-dessus parce que nous pensons que c'est une question de liberté académique de pouvoir publier ce bouquin en anglais. Voilà, je ne sais pas si ça suffit pour mon explication.
Merci. We started talking about translation earlier on, so it's a really good, we're making this connection. Yes, please.
Is it my turn to talk?
And then we'll come.
Thank you very much for the presentations. I have a very brief question that I'd like to ask, and it relates to whether there has been any systematic assessment of the impact of the Kampala Declaration 35 years ago. I think it's quite important for us to look back at what that impact might be, especially around the question of the relationship between struggles for academic freedom and social struggles or popular struggles more broadly. If we don't have but a broad program outlining the modalities of such an interaction between academics or intellectuals, as I think the Kampala Declaration does very well to emphasize both academic freedom and intellectual freedom, and how that engagement with popular struggles happens, we're simply going to be reiterating another declaration, and how futile is that? So I want us to get to a point where the call to action has some meaning. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think that's one of the questions we'll be grappling with. I don't know if we want to answer that in full right now, because I think as we go through the conference, especially on the last day, we will be looking at the lessons learned and where we want to go with this. And I think we leave it at that. And at the end, I'll give each of you a second just to go to anything if you want to pick up on that. But I think we'll be coming to that. And this is why it was so important to also hear from what has happened to the other kind of initiatives like that. Let me go to the back, then I'll come. 3 more questions. Right at the back.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nami. I just wanted to ask, will there be a possibility to comment on the addendum before Friday? Because the addendum is excellent, but I don't know if 2 hours of conversation around that addendum is enough. And it might be useful to, for example, put it in a Google Doc and allow just for comments in the margins between now and Friday, so that there can be kind of sustained engagement with that addendum. So that, for example, an excellent point that Fred raised, for example, about how we move forward can be incorporated as an example. But I think like the public deliberation part of it, you know, it's great, but it's 2 hours is just not enough for us. And so, yeah, I'm just suggesting maybe we can have a way of written engagement with the addendum.
I think that is noted. Yes, I'll ask you to speak to the end towards that. Thank you. There was somebody just in front. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Robert Murisa from Uganda, Mara University of Science and Technology. I have 2 comments.
One, and then just make it really brief.
Okay,
We will have a chance to keep talking to these issues.
Okay, just one that is pertinent for me is as we talk of academic freedom, I am inspired by the comment in the morning. I come from Uganda, where the private universities are divided into chartered and licensed. And then we have public universities which are automatically chartered. And recently I learned that the licensed universities, the students who come from universities, licensed universities, for example, they cannot apply for a postgraduate degree and we recruit them. I sit at a postgraduate admission board, and we debated as to whether these students should be admitted to a postgraduate degree. Yet they have done an accredited programs, but from licensed universities, not chartered universities. So I thought that we need to understand the legal issues, the policies that guide the university.
That's an issue for us to answer, and we'll continue to deliberate. Thank you.
This is a short comment. It's in relation to what Professor TJ was saying, the way in which the neoliberalization of the university itself presents.
I'm not sure if the interpreters can hear you. Can we have the other mic, please?
So I was saying that this is just a short comment in relation to what Professor TJ was saying. The neoliberalization of the university itself, where, I mean, after independence, the universities were known or constructed to serve a public good. Then by the 1980s, some very enterprising people from the World Bank and the IMF told us that our universities should be run based on a particular type of model. And that also then means that a responsibility that the university has to society got transcended in a way. I think when we're having this conversation, we should not forget the larger historical context where the Kampala and Dar es Salaam declarations emerged context, but also the current moment we are living in. And personally, I'll end on this. Universities used to think that African universities were the ones that were under attack in terms of academic freedom. I have been called to my dean's office because I oppose genocide. Just saying, don't kill babies now means that you can't be targeted in Western universities, which is like really crazy, right? So yeah, within which we are located at present. And no, I don't think that the conversations that we are having is just a waste of time. Even if we constantly keep returning to the same questions, I think it represents a moment of permanent recommencement that allows us to be able to understand exactly moments that we are living in and tie them to historical struggles in order to identify exactly what the academic social responsibility is, both of the university, but also the mixed relation to their students and the wider society. So it's just about our own freedom. It is also our responsibility to society uphold ethical concerns about right in the world, especially in the society in which we live. Thank you.
Thank you. That's actually one reason I wanted to read the beginning of the Dar Declaration, because it's amazing reading it now and you feel that it was written this morning. And I think there was one last comment here. And then I think, okay, I can see, I will take Marema as the last one. Unless there's another burning one. I actually thought there'd only be 2 or 3. It's wonderful that after such a long day, so many things. Yes.
Thank you so much. I have come from quite different of university. Perhaps I will Professor Shifji. I don't know what is this. This concept of academic freedom has very much in relation with the let me struggle with this one. So my question goes to Professor Isa Shifji. The idea that academic freedom is normally related with the source of fund, if I am not mistaken. We normally say we have to go academic freedom, the sponsor or the funder has so many ways of changing the affecting the academic research. So we are running. We have been asking the state is funding in university state fund. There is intervention of the state funders. They will have intervention. So there is another option. There is, let's say, make them privatized. Then this is another problem. So how do we strike balance? Because in my country, where I come from, Eritrea, the state is very generous for the universities. It funds. And obviously, everyone says here the fund is one of the serious problems in research is funding sources. And I think there is so much discussion in the relation academic freedom and funding. Then where do we strike balance to be academically free? Let's say we will be responsible, socially responsible academics, but we never strictly dominate our research on our wishes, on our willing. No, that's one of the serious problems. So how do we strike balance? Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll take that last comment from Marema, then I will give each of you literally a minute. This time I will come and stand next to you. But if there is something pressing. Marema?
Oui, non, je ne voulais pas rater cette session parce qu'on dit que c'est la session qui nous demande de tourner notre regard vers l'avenir. Je pense que le panel a été suffisamment explicite pour nous parler des changements et de la transformation qu'il y a eu dans le paysage depuis la déclaration de Kampala. L'université privée, en tout cas dans un pays comme le Sénégal, est devenue plus qu'un fait très important, avec toutes les questions que ça convoque en termes de liberté et en termes d'accès au financement. Mais je pense que, tournant la déclaration vers l'avenir, il y a deux choses sur lesquelles il me semble que nous devons le plus insister. L'un, c'est que c'est bon de faire la déclaration, mais depuis la déclaration, on sait aussi qu'il faut donner plus de poids aux modalités qui devraient nous permettre de faire de cette déclaration une véritable réalité. Je pense que la deuxième chose, c'est le lien intrinsèque. On ne peut pas parler de la déclaration de Kampala si on ne la lit pas par rapport à la déclaration. Est-ce que liberté académique peut être pensée en dehors des libertés intellectuelles? Mais je pense qu'au-delà même de penser ça en dehors des libertés intellectuelles, il s'agit aussi de voir que les libertés académiques ont un lien intrinsèque avec la liberté sociétale. C'est ce qui se passe dans la société qui informe ce qui se passe dans l'université. Et dans nos pays, Pendemo est ici pour me laisser, pour me corriger, si je dis que les conditions d'émergence même de l'université, qui a émergé dans un contexte colonial, l'UQAD, l'université de Dakar, en est l'exemple patent. En 1957, une faculté de l'Académie de Bordeaux. Et ça, c'est la réalité dans plusieurs pays. Et aujourd'hui, le seul rapport que les femmes de mon village ont avec l'université, c'est quand les enfants contestent et qu'une balle atteint leur enfant et que leur enfant meurt. Là où je suis assise, je reçois un message de UNDSS qui me dit qu'aujourd'hui, il ne faut pas prendre la route de Ouakam parce que l'avenue est chaude, il y a confrontation entre les étudiants. Et là seulement, c'est quand il va y avoir mort d'étudiants que les femmes de mon village vont se sentir concernées est réellement concerté par rapport à ce qui se passe dans la société. Donc, je voulais simplement que dans la dénome, nous soyons beaucoup plus attentifs à cette question de lien intrinsèque avec les libertés intellectuelles et la liberté simplement au sein de la société. Et je finis en disant que ça pose aussi la question sous-jacente qui était entre Sekna et Carlos. Parce que quand Carlos dit l'Union européenne a refusé que nous publions la tradition en anglais, ce qu'il nous dit de façon sous-jacente, c'est l'Union africaine, l'Union européenne, parce qu'elle a payé à la main sur ce que nous produisons. Et donc, c'est toujours notre débat éternel au Codestria. Est-ce que nous pouvons avoir une autonomie institutionnelle viable et sûre si nous ne pensons pas l'autonomie financière qui doit la sous-tendre? Merci.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank all of you for the richness of the questions, because this is what we are going to be discussing in the next. When I teach the declarations, I teach students who come from different universities and all over the country, the continent. And something that's always rich, they always start by dismissing the Dar es Salaam Declaration, because they say that one was the earlier one. But when we look at it and we look at how the Dar Declaration enables us to look at our own countries before looking at the Kampala, many of them actually find that to be a really wonderful thing to look at closely. I also like that you've reminded us that we must constantly make that linkage back to the society. I'm going to ask each of the three of you just to use the mic next to you if there's a pressing thing you want to say. I'm also going to ask the ES if you would want to come and join us so that you can answer the question and then also set the ground for tomorrow, please. So let me start in the order that you spoke.
Thank you so much for the engagement with the panel. I just want to underscore a point, which is the dependency of African higher education on either government or external funding. The question that, because it has, in that context of dependency, it has impact on university autonomy, and it has impact and a subsequent impact on academic freedom. So the question that we need to reflect on, especially in the context that the current global context, that in the context of an economy that is basically primary sector based, very informalized, with high level of poverty. Should academic freedom not also entail, as part of the social responsibility that academics have, entail the structural transformation of our economy? The issue of the political economy again for me comes in our current political economic context. Academics have a strong role in transforming the system that we have in order for us, as part of the agenda of academic freedom and the social responsibility of academics. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Mwalimu Shivji.
Just wanted to respond very quickly to one issue about funding. The question of donor funding, the question of state funding. These are problematic. The funders want to control. There was a time when they did it in a more subtle fashion. Now they do it openly. The question is, how do we react? I think one way, what experience teaches us, is that we have to stand together as a collective. In that respect, Codesia, I think so far has done well. With ups and downs, Codesia has managed to act as a buffer between the funder and the researchers. So Codesia researchers don't have to face the funders directly. So it is the Codesia management secretariat who do that job, but the researchers are independent. When it comes to state funding, unfortunately, our university administrations do not play that role. That is the role. They should be standing against, interference by the state. Our universities administrations have given in too easily. And that's partly because we have not been raising our voices, we have not been collectively resisting that. And our collective at the university level are our staff association. So you have to strengthen our staff association to be able to put pressure on university administrations. Now, this is not only us, but you have seen what is happening in the US. Colombia gave in. Harvard put up a resistance. You see? So this is true of everywhere. But that is something, there is an article on it in the annex, and we should be discussing in our panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please join me in thanking our panelists who have given us such a rich foundation to our discussion. I also want to thank each of you. It has been a long day, and it is really amazing to see how many of you have stayed to the end. I hope that you will be with us tomorrow as we continue the discussion. And I also want to end really by thanking again the University of Dar es Salaam. Our people say, and I'm wearing a kanga today in honor of that, Mthamini akupendaye. Those who you love, those who have loved us, we come back to show how much we value. University of Dar es Salaam, we really, really, really value you for being a catalyst to this discussion, not just at the beginning, but over the years. I want to invoke the presence of Mwalimu Chachage, who many of you know held the space for that first assembly here at Dar es Salaam that began us on this journey. I know that his legacy continues as a member of the executive committee. I always sit there conscious of the responsibility and the privilege that people like Mwalimu Shivji, who sat on that committee before me, Mwalimu Chachage, and so many others have left us. And I hope that as we continue our deliberations, it will be more than just presenting an academic paper, that we really are fighting for our lives, not just as academics, but for the lives of this continent, the lives of this world. And the weight of what has been given to us is rich, it's heavy, and generations after us, the beginning, we stand in a moment of great crisis, but it is also a time of hope. Yes, over to you.
Thank you very much, Shai, for running the panel swiftly, and thank you, presenters, for your interventions. Just a quick response to the question that Nimi raised. I'm going to ask my colleagues to put up the draft annex to the Kampala Declaration on Google Live. So if you have any comments, we will send you a link. You can go in there and make your inputs from now. And then we will have a conversation on Friday. Those of you who want to stay in Dar es Salaam for a few more days just to work on that document, I want to welcome you to hang in with us. So the document will be up live today and we'll send an email. I want to make a quick announcement on the printed program for tomorrow. Panel 4 and panel 5. Some of you may have noticed that we mistakenly reproduced the titles from panel 4 into panel 5. We've already made a change on the program, and we have put up a soft copy of the program where you can access all the documents. So please just take a moment and download the new version that we posted yesterday night, so that you can know the exact papers that are being presented in panel 5. They are all different from the ones that are being. Ture will still chair that particular panel. It will be a plenary panel, and Mary Centrana will chair panel 4, just like it is indicated on the program. Tomorrow is going to be also a difficult day. We have a long program, so I want to encourage colleagues to be able to help us leave the hotels tomorrow. Fred asked a question which I think is important. The basis for the discussions we are having in this particular conference were the result of a preliminary analysis of the impact of Kampala Declaration that Joe Oloka Onyango presented in a series of meetings, one of which you attended. The other one was actually here in Dar es Salaam. And the paper is available on the Codesria website. You can have a look. The report of the 2 pilot meetings that we had before this particular meeting is also there. It has a range of issues that have been raised with respect to the impact. But I think, Fred, what you're pointing to is perhaps we need a more comprehensive engagement with the impact of the Kampala Declaration. I know for sure that the committee that Mwalimu Issa Shivji chaired had such a reflection, and some of the things that I listened to really were educative of some of the impacts of the Kampala Declaration. So it's an agenda that we want to carry on board because we have only been able to do a preliminary analysis. That said, I'm assuming, Richard, that I can step into your shoe and guide colleagues. I think they are serving tea outside, and the buses are also outside. They will take you back to your respective hotels, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 9. Thank you very much, and all the very best.
Guys, if someone forgot this adapter in the council chamber, it is here with me. Just pick it.
Même si le ciel tombait, du tombeau la paix. Siamo abitati con la età. Siamo abitati con même si le ciel tombait, du tombeau non fait. Siamo abitati. Yo ala hatu jam to Rwanda. Yo ala hatu jam to Burundi. Yo ala hatu jam to Ghana.
bu leen bett quoi waaw bu leen bett man sax li nga mën xadi gars yi man fu ñuy kii jël naan bu yàgg taxaw leen xaar foofu loolu kii waaw moo tey sax ñoo si nekkoon man ak Dominique ñoo nekkoon di tuité nii ci affaire bi ah def congé am na congé am na congé am na congé da nga ñibbi di bàyyi fii maa ngi ñëw